Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Radiant Black podcast. This is a show where we talk Radiant Black and everything Massiveverse. I'm your host, Bash, and I'm joined by my friends and fellow hosts, Ali, aka Firefly, and Charlie. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Cal is back. Radiant Black just finished our Catalyst War, so we're excited to get back into Cowl after a little bit of a wait. How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, still emotionally recovering a little bit after that
Are we all?
crazy ending. But yeah, it's nice. The Massiveverse is still definitely alive. They're keeping us busy with a lot of content and stuff until February, until Radiant Black comes back. So yeah, can't wait. Actually really enjoyed this issue. Spoilers. So yeah, can't wait to get into it. How are you, Bash?
Good, good. Yeah, I did love this issue as well. It's always good to get Cal. And we're a little bit late on the review. Honestly, we just had a lot going on, and especially getting ready for the Catalyst War, finishing up the newsletter, which is getting pretty close. I'm just waiting for the last entry from the boys. Very excited to read it. It's gonna be a big, juicy. Like I'm excited because we're gonna release it to the patrons first for like a couple of weeks, and then for the first time, release it to the public and see how it's received. But yeah, Cal, I can't wait to talk about this book. We do have one thing to mention before we start. For those of you who want to get the reprint for the Catalyst War, which is they reprinted Radiant Black number 30 and 30.5 combined in one issue, and it's only $4.99. So if you've got those individually at $3.99 each, but if you get the reprint, it's $4.99 for both issues combined, and it has a gorgeous cover by Eduardo Fregato and Marcelo Costa of Premiere and Radiant Black Fighting. So if you want to get that, it's on FOC this Monday being October 28th. So you still have a day, probably, but the day this drops, that you still have that day to pre-order it. So make sure you do. It was on FOC last week, but it got pushed again, probably because it was added really late to the catalog. So yeah, but without further ado, let's get into it. Cal 1964 #2, which is really just the sequel, the continuation, really, of Cal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we're here. One thing I did want to say first off was I thought like the first issue. I was wondering this because we know how Michael loves his kind of standalone. Like you don't need to read certain things to
Yes.
understand certain things. And honestly, for the first time, this is where I felt like which it is a sequel in a way. But the first issue I thought did a very good job of picking up from somewhere that you didn't really have to understand C.O.W.L completely. But even in this, even reading C.O.W.L recently, I did have some trouble like going through notes here. Like I would like just put in questions like, oh, go back and find this, go back and find this. Oh, why does this character feel this way? Oh, why did he get kicked out of C.O.W.L? Like certain things like that. So yeah, this was definitely I had to take a little bit of a deep dive on C.O.W.L with this one. So yeah, I do love where it's heading though. But it really does feel like a almost literally a direct sequel of C.O.W.L,
Yes.
which is great
Definitely.
for people who love C.O.W.L for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, just wanted to point that out. But yeah, we
Yeah.
get Jeffrey here, get Mr. Jeffrey on the
Yeah.
stand.
Well, before we do that, let's just mention real quick the creative team. We
Yeah,
always do it, just we have to. Story by Kyle Higgins and Alec Siegel. They've done several books before. I mean, they've done the Cal books before, so it's great to get the original writers working together. They also did the short movie. What is it called? It's a different name. It's not Cal. It's the forget what it was, but it's on Kyle Higgins' YouTube. You can see it for free, and it's basically the Cal movie. We've all seen it a while back. I think one of us still hasn't seen it. So is it
I have
Charlie?
not seen
Charlie,
it.
you have it? Yeah,
I have
Charlie.
not seen it yet.
Yeah, so I'm sure Charlie will check it out soon. But yeah, it's
Hundred
it's a
percent.
great movie. I highly recommend it. You can see it for
It's
free, so
called
it can't go wrong.
Cowl the League. It's on YouTube, and it's
The
only
league, the
about
Probably
league,
30
right?
cool.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
Rod Rice on the art, and that includes the colors, which I gotta say, in my opinion, one of the best looking books of 2024. Really, just every page has a lot of love. The storytelling is masterful. The colors are beautiful.
Yes.
I love seeing someone color their own work. I've seen it recently with Mikhail Yanin in Detective Comics, and I thought it brought a whole new level to the storytelling, and I love it here. We've got Michael Busuttil edits and designs, Buddy Beaudoin on letters, and Rod Rice and Kelly McMahon on the covers, Eric Wright on the original logo design, and of course Wesley Griffith, production artist. So yeah, we start
Weird
in New
not
York
seeing Becca Carey
on
on here, eh?
Chicago.
Weird not seeing
Yeah,
Becca
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
Carey.
It
yeah,
is. It's so weird,
definitely.
but she's doing like all,
Wonder
dude. I
Woman, right?
literally,
Yeah, she's doing
yeah,
absolute.
she's doing
Yeah,
Wonder
she's
Woman. I'm pretty sure she's doing Superman as well, right? I'm pretty
cool.
sure she's doing absolute Superman. And literally, me and Ali and like some of the people in the Rain Black Discord were talking about how there's 3 Michael Walsh books that came out last week, 3 books from the same creator, and he drew 2 of them, and one of them he drew and wrote, and the last one he wrote. Well, I'm like,
That's crazy.
and I realized Becca lettered every single one of those books. Of
course.
They all come out the same week. She's lettered like 20 books a week. It's crazy. Becca Carey, guys, remember the name. Yeah, she's not on this book, but she does pretty much a lot of everything Radiant Black. So incredible letter.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely one of the greatest for sure. But yeah, first getting into here, this really like it's starting to feel like the walls are closing in on Jeffrey,
Yes.
for sure. Which is kind of an inevitable place to go, considering all he's been through and all he's done. But yeah, I love where this is heading. I love how he's getting exposed, but and I think we're definitely going to see like the lengths he's going to go to kind of keep this story uncovered, and I think we're going to see like the darkest sides even than we saw before in C.O.W.L, which is great. But yeah,
you guys
first
get
off,
the
he's on the
impression
stand.
that like, well, you get
Yeah.
this impression that like Blaze is starting to kind of doubt Warner, or is it just
Yes.
me? Like he's
almost sick of his
Yes.
shit. He's been so loyal, so by his side
Yes.
for so long, like years, and now it's like getting to him. He's like, why does this keep happening? Why do I have to keep like doubting if this man is truthful or if this man is worth being loyal to? That's kind of the vibe I got from it. And I think, not to jump too far ahead, but I think this whole having him go look for, I forgot her name, but the anonymous source, basically, that this is going to be his breaking point. This is when he's gonna turn on Warner.
I agree. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but I get that sense that like Blaze is having doubts. He finally acts on these doubts in this issue, and I feel like he's slowly going to get closer to the truth, or at least something that will raise more questions, and then really maybe get him to question Jeffrey himself. I feel like that's where we're going.
Yeah, 100%. Quick question I wanted to ask you guys in the first here. So they're talking about Jeffrey's talking about how C.O.W.L, like they're still, even with all these accusations, C.O.W.L is still going forward with going national. All this, they're doing all they can to go over, see who Skylancer is, and all this. I totally forget if we actually talked about this last issue, but do you guys believe that Jeffrey is the one who gave the Skylancer gear to Grant after he fired him? Or is this?
I have no
this
idea.
just?
That's a
Okay.
great question.
Good
I have
theory,
no
yeah.
idea. Maybe because I feel like maybe he stole it, but like you're right. Like maybe someone gave it. This is some maker shit right here.
I remember after. So he literally got fired. Like he ended up getting shot in an alley, and then he woke up, and then Jeffrey fired him for using his gun under unnecessary force, whatever, after being hospitalized for months. And then right after he got fired, he just gets a random box on his door with Skylancer gear. So that really makes me think this is kind of Jeffrey's play on how he can stay in power, also how he can
justify the need for
justify to his shareholders, right? So I think that's
really smart. That's some like chess, like 200 IQ plays.
And I will say that would be in character for Warner to do something like that, for Jeffrey to do something.
Even like one thing we see is in this issue, there's a scene where Radia shows up to his apartment right after his wife is being nice. She tells him like, you know, I support you no matter what, and like I'm always here for you. And then Radia shows up. She's like, can I have a moment with Jeffrey? And they're like just talking, and he straight up just asks her. She asks him like, did you have anything to do with like the murder of the prostitute, aka the person who leaked the information from Camden Stone, the murder of Camden Stone, and do you have anything to do with like, do you know anything about like the whole thing? And she says he just like, I was like, no. And I think he even, because there's no bubble.
No, he doesn't. No. He never says no. He never says no. He says, I'm surprised.
He doesn't deny it. Yeah.
Which he doesn't deny it or confirm it, though. He
says, if you think this about me, you can leave. If you think this about me, you can leave. And she didn't say yes or no either. She didn't say yes or no either.
I think she understood what he meant, though. I think the fact that he didn't deny it, I think she took away exactly what she needed to from that. But I want to say, in the past, in the original C.O.W.L, that kind of confrontation would have really like irked Jeffrey. He would have gotten like a reaction from it. I think we've seen him mature. Like here, he's more like, he's very much more like the evil, like conniving, like, you know, like he's picking his words carefully, right? Like he didn't deny it, but he said something that really almost rejects it. So I thought that was very interesting.
So would you, just to make sure we're all on the same page, the only people that know the truth that Jeffrey killed Camden Stone is the prostitute, I forgot her name, Jeffrey himself, and Blaze
at this point.
And
don't think
Blaze.
Radia like
Does
knows,
Blaze
but she
know?
doesn't know
I
for
don't. I
sure.
don't think Blaze knows. I really don't. I
Really?
You
think
don't think
Blaze.
so?
Actually,
Because
yeah, he
why
might
would he?
not.
Why would
No,
he go around the apartment looking for things if he? You know what I mean? Why would he go look for the woman if he knows?
To try to
I think-
contain the story.
yeah. No, I think
Mm.
yeah. Or actually, Jeffrey told Blaze to go to the apartment, see if she
Okay.
left
Right.
anything.
Okay.
So yeah, I think
So
that's
maybe
why.
Blaze
Yeah.
suspicions. Maybe he has suspicions. I don't know. Maybe Blaze does know.
Yes.
It's not. It's not. Does he know? I don't know. It's not very clear.
It
to me.
never. They actually never really said.
Okay.
And I
Or maybe
actually
that's
believe
part of their relationship.
I
That's a
believe there's
question.
also one other person who does know.
Hmm.
And that is from the end of C.O.W.L. There was this Evelyn Frost, this reporter they were talking about, and she was the one who ended up finding the eyewitness of like he was some junkie in the alley saw Arclight murder John Pierce, that detective, and John Pierce was basically bringing her a piece of information that that he was killed for having. So I think she's, and actually kind of spoiling it too, I think she's kind of the one behind this whole thing personally. Like what
Oh.
who's hiding this girl, like who's working with spoilers, but Sparrow, as we see later. But yeah, I think she's kind of the one who's trying to expose everything, because at the
Like an
very end of
underground cow. Interesting.
yes, at the very
Yeah.
end of C.O.W.L, she went to the judges with this witness, and they basically said, "Oh, like he's just a junkie. He's not good enough." And that's the last we heard of her. So I think
That's actually so smart, because they do mention in this issue that they can't smear the reputation of the woman, because even though she is a prostitute and it would be easy to do it according to like the optics of it, that by doing that, then it would be clear that they were there, because that's the
Yes.
only way they would know. So that's actually a very good point. I think you're onto something with that. I think you might have nailed it. I think probably
There's
right,
so many
yeah.
layers to this. There's so
There's-
many
Yeah,
layers.
no,
It's some no one shit.
is.
There's
It
no
really
one light,
is.
bro. It's no one light. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. There's a
Yeah,
lot of like
no,
no one
there is,
storytelling
and
devices.
yeah, a quick shout out. Bash was saying before, but just the first scene of Blaze going through the apartment searching, like just using a normal
Gorgeous.
flashlight, but it's still being blue, like mimicking his gauntlet and all that was so well done.
Gorgeous page.
Yeah,
The storytelling is amazing. You don't need
Yes.
you don't need dialogue, because you understand with the progression between panels exactly what's happening. The action is all there, and the action speaking loudly. It's
Mhm.
just beautiful, masterful storytelling. And then later on, there's another page where, like literally in the very next sequence, we go to the Unity Fund at near the South Side, where they're holding this Unity Fund, right, for the master plan for the future. And Jeffrey Warner's there, and he's like seeing all these people, and he's lip reading. And the way they do the lip reading is really, really cool. They kind of, you'd have to see it, but it's almost like Redondo, like where they do like these zip tone on the faces, and then the faces become blue, almost like to make it look like he's deciphering the language of the lips. And
it's almost like a
such
power. It's like we haven't seen like
Yeah.
really how capable he is yet, to what extent. We know he's a Gray Raven, and we did see in that one issue, like the like first appearance of Gray Raven, kind of like the more stuff he can do. But yeah, this was a really cool touch for him. Just to show how badass he is, really. And yeah, he definitely puts all these guys in his place.
He just goes up to them, puts his arms
hilarious.
around.
It was
Like, I can
hilarious.
read your lips. I can read lips. Next time, cover your mouth.
Or
like
just
the
keep a
most
shot.
savage line.
Or just keep
or
a shot. Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
They're all just looking at him like, oh shit, you know?
Oh yes, and also the thing there. So basically, they're going to look for this prostitute, because Jeffrey's actually been paying her off for years. For the last 2 years, he's been paying her off, and now the question is, why is she not accepting the money? And she's gone, and now seems to be going against them. So now the question is, why did she stop taking the money? But yeah,
did you guys expect to see that side of Blaze? He kind of literally just flips out,
That's
literally
why-
like in the snap of a finger.
I think that's why like it kind of proves what you were saying earlier about him having the doubts. I think the doubts are making him unsteady.
Making him angry. He's tired of people like gaslighting him, right? They're all
not
like
knowing everything
him,
or having
using
to
him.
feel that doubt. Like that shit, after a while, gets to you.
Yeah, he beats the shit out of these guards at Miss Nellie's Gentleman Club, where the prostitute who has the information on Camden Stone used to work, or at least still works. That's what he's trying to figure out. At that point, when he beats the two guards up, like the woman he's talking to starts to freak out. And she's like, "Look, I'll help you find Cindy." And she's like, I don't know where she lives, but like I'll help you find her. And then she's like, I know this girl Cindy who's friends with her. They hang out outside the club. And he's like, okay, where does Cindy live? And that's where he goes next. And he's looking for like information. But before we get there, we're back at the loop in the central.
Back to the loop. I'm so curious what's happening with the loop. The loop is the place where John Pierce got killed by Arclight in that one issue. There's been lots going on in the loop, but yeah, I'm curious, like,
it's like, why does it need such hardcore
crime?
Protection, right? Like,
and why is there so much crime? Like, why does he target this spot for sure? But yeah, we see Grant in here. A very capable bank robber. He's doing a good job. But yeah, then he gets caught. And I don't believe we talked about the bar much. But the two people he gets confronted by, he met in the bar earlier
that same night.
He leaves immediately. So the conversation is initiated by Arclight and Radio when they meet the other three. And then he puts his hand up and he's like, I got to go to some meeting. Like, I have something to do with peace. Yeah. But then later he has this moment where he looks at this guy, and I forget his name, the guy wearing the blue, the eye cover.
It's Grant. I forgot his superhero name, though.
Yeah, he has the gun pointed at him, and they almost have this moment, right?
Yeah, Silver Star.
No, Gerald Klein. Sorry, Gerald Klein. Silver Starling.
Yes. Yeah. They have this moment, right? They have this moment where they look at each other in the eyes. There's almost like an understanding. It's like you get the sense that they know each other well, or that there's something between them. And then he tilts the gun to the other guy and kills him, or just shoots him. I don't know if he's dead or not. I think he's dead. Is he dead? I think he's dead, right?
He looks pretty dead, but they say he's moving, so who knows?
Yeah.
No, they say he's not moving. Yeah, he's not moving.
Oh, he's not moving. Okay.
Yeah, I took it as like that was Grant's first time where, like, okay, now he's in too deep. Like, he was doing this before, but now he's literally killed someone. He has blood on his hands. So yeah, it's kind of, he can't really come back from this at all. Like earlier in the issue, Radio was wanting him to come back to C.O.W.L. But he obviously shows his hate for them.
Yeah, he face bombs himself. So like, even he seems like he's regretting it. Like, he 100%. Seems like he regrets doing that. It was all in the heat of the moment, literally. Yeah, the art's amazing though. Like, just
it is. That's one like awesome action sequence. Honestly, the whole thing.
I love the paneling. Yeah, I love how when he's flying away, he's flying outside the panel. It's like, it's just so creative. I love it. I love that kind of shit. Yeah, then that's the next page, is the page we talked about where they're back at Warner's apartment. His wife is there. The Radio has the conversation. She figures out the tell, right? There's almost like a tell. It's like poker, right? You're waiting for the tell. I think she figured it out. Radio walks away, and it's just like, oh my God, I want to figure out what
I think they both know. They both know each other knows. Like, they're both smart enough.
Can I just say, Radio has a presence, even when she's not being a hero. Like, she's so badass. Like, she has this like aura, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't need to be like dressed up, ready to, to beat people up. She's just like, even when she shows up in full work clothes, she has a certain aura about her, and I love that.
Yeah, and I think Jeffrey's, like, throughout this whole series, he's done so much to, like, justify his own actions. Say, oh, they're worth it. Like, C.O.W.L, like, we need heroes. But I think now, like, he's kind of coming out of that, and I don't know if he's lying to himself, but I think he's just kind of, he's in too deep as well. I don't know if he's even justifying it to himself anymore. I think he's just trying to not get caught at this point. Crazy moment for sure. And yeah, like I said, the walls are closing into his inevitable end. Like, I really can't see this guy have a happy ending, but maybe.
I do love the final like 2-3 pages of the story where we're going into the apartment of Cindy. Blaze breaks. Well, he doesn't break in. He crawls in through. Well, not crawls in. He flies in through the window, and he's using his.
How cool was him like going up the building like that though with the gauntlet?
It's so cool, and he's using his hand like gauntlet as a light. Super cool. I love the hello. Reginald. You remind me of like the robots in Radiant Black. Hello, Marshall. It's like, hello, Reginald. It's good to see you, and it's the freaking Sparrow. Love that scene, just amazing scene of him with the lightning behind him. Reminds me of like Batman in the animated series, standing on top of the tower, and he's just like, Paul, you're back. What the hell? And that's where he's like, Karen Milliken. That's the prostitute from the Gentleman's Club, the Cindy's friend who was there with Camden Stone's murder. He says, Karen Milliken is under my protection. She's not here, and you won't find her. Leave it alone. And then he says, why are you doing this? And he says, because Jeffrey Warner should have been dealt with a long time ago. That final page of like the rain and like just seeing Blaze in there with the first of all, Rice's facial expressions are amazing. Like the
Yes.
facial, like that you could see like the emotions so clearly on their face when they're talking, when they're shocked. Rod Rice is amazing, like just freaking incredible. Love this
No.
issue. It's a short issue, but it has a lot of like substance to it. Like you can
Yeah.
reread it and find a lot of really cool things in there. That's what I really love about the series.
I'm glad they went to 4. I'm glad they went to 4 issues. Like it really seems like it might have been a tight wrap up next
I agree
issue.
with you. Yes. That's
So
why
yeah,
that was my first thought having read it. I was like, I'm so glad that we get 2 more because I feel like 1 more is not enough. Like we need like 2 more to really tie everything nicely. Fantastic issue. I'm loving this series. Like we mentioned earlier, I think before the show started, I think if you've never read C.O.W.L before, we highly recommend reading C.O.W.L because I don't really think you can go into this without reading
it's
C.O.W.L. I
tough.
think it's
It's
very tough. Yeah, I don't think
it's
you'll enjoy it.
overwhelming. I'd say in a way, like it is a little overwhelming trying to remember all the names, and
Yeah.
I feel like that takes away a little bit from how good the story actually is because you're worried about who's who.
Yeah.
And
If you really do
I've
like
been there.
go, if you really do go into it, watch the movie and read the first 11 issues, it
I think
Does-
it'd be better.
comes together.
Does the
a
movie
lot
go
better.
into the Sparrow at all? Like anything
Yes,
about?
yes.
Yes.
He's
Okay.
in a lot of the movie. He's like the main character of the movie. Him and
Wow.
Blaze.
Yes.
But I would say Sparrow
Okay.
gets the most scenes in the movie.
Literally the only thing they say about him in the whole comic is they were fighting in World War I together, and then they wanted to make an article on World War I, and Jeffrey said, I don't want Sparrow in the article. I want like people to forget about him. I don't want any like he's trying to erase the history of Sparrow. And I was like wondering
I would
why.
say watch the movie. Watch the movie.
Yes, and
it'll
I
make a lot
believe
more
that's
sense.
and I think that's why Blaze and Jeffrey like are so into it. Like I think they both feel responsible for what happened to Sparrow. I have no idea what happened, but I definitely got to watch that movie though.
Yeah.
Definitely got it.
Yeah. So overall, obviously, I think I can safely say for everyone here, we're going to stick with this. It's an awesome series. Just like it's amazing all around. Alec, Kyle, the killing, the scripts, the story, the art's incredible. The lettering's fantastic. But I would buy it just for the art alone. I love it so much. I would buy it for the art alone. But it's amazing that the story is actually incredible. It's very engaging. So I can't wait for the next issue. We're probably going to do that. We'll review that issue now that Radiant Black is on hiatus. We'll review that issue the week it comes out, so the reviews will be a lot quicker. We do have Radiant Black trivia coming up, aka Massiveverse trivia. We'll announce that soon. I'm going to start putting together the questions of the boys. It's going to be hard, of course, but it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, we always do prizes, giveaways, just participation, like prizes as well. People who stick with us till the end. So we hope to see you there. Otherwise, anything else you guys want to add before we head out?
I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Radiant Black hardcover now in stores.
Yes.
It's out, baby. Go get it. It's out. Go buy it, guys. First 12 issues, 5,000 words of interviews, 40 pages of back matter. Go buy it.
That's insane.
Oh, and what do they call it? In stock trades. I don't know if the deal is still up, but someone posted this in the Radiant Black Discord. In stock trades had it for $22.50 US, half off. $22.50 for the Radiant Black hardcover. That's as cheap as the trade. That's like a little bit more than the trade for the hardcover. So check that out if you haven't. InStockTrades.com. I'm sure you can find it. Hopefully the deal is still up there. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us today, guys. We'll see you next time. Stay radiant.